Why did Jesus leave this folded up napkin in his tomb after the resurrection? Let's find out.
All right, let's see it.
It was a custom in that day when a master would sit at his table and eat. When he got finished eating, he was done. He would take a napkin. He would clean his face up. He would clean his hands up. He would ball this napkin up, and he would leave it on the plate, and that would let everybody know, when I get up, I'm not coming back because I'm finished. But if the master got a phone call or had to go to the living room to take care of some business, he would take this same napkin. He would fold it up nice and neat. He would lay it across his plate, and that would let everybody know, I'm not finished. I'm coming back. In the same way, Jesus made a statement by folding this napkin, telling everybody he's coming back.
So absolutely none of this is true, and this was all made up about 20 years ago. To start, however, the King James Version renders the Greek word soudarion in John 20, verse 7 as napkin, and this creates the impression that the piece of cloth that was placed over Jesus' head when he was buried is the same type of cloth that would have been used in dining. And that is just simply not true. That is an artifact of the King James Version's rather imprecise translation. Soudarion refers to a handkerchief. It was a type of cloth that would have been used to wipe sweat from someone's face, and they're using that term to refer to the fact that a handkerchief would have been placed over Jesus's face. This is not the full burial shroud or sheet. This is just a little handkerchief that would have been placed over the face. This is not the type of cloth that would have been used in dining. That would have been called a chiromakton. In the 1st century CE, 2nd century CE, that was the word that referred to a hand wiper or a hand towel or the thing you wiped your hands or your face with while you were dining. So right off the bat, what is described in John 20, verse 7 has absolutely nothing to do with the napkin you use in dining. Second, there is absolutely nothing from the ancient world that supports the notion that any such tradition was in circulation anciently. There are no ancient texts, there are no ancient pieces of iconography, there are no ancient archaeological data that support that. In fact, the earliest occurrence of any kind I can find to any such convention whatsoever comes from 2007. Meaning this was probably something that was made up about 20 years ago, and it has just proliferated on social media since then. The closest we get in the ancient world to any tradition associated with dining napkins is something from Berachot 8:3, where we have House Shammai says that when you're done with a napkin, you lay it on the table. And then House Hillel said, nuh-uh, you lay it on the cushion you're sitting on. And this has to do with ritual purity. This has nothing to do with whether you scrunch it or fold it or roll it or anything like that. In fact, the word that is used in John 20, verse 7 to refer to the state of the napkin means to roll. Now, usually it means to roll something up in something else, and it usually gets interpreted as folded, but it doesn't even clearly indicate that what's going on here is a folding of this napkin. And finally, why does John 20, verse 7 say that this napkin was rolled or folded up and set aside? The idea there is to suggest that this was an orderly event and not that someone just broke in and stole his body. Seeing the napkin folded and placed on the bench tomb indicates this was not just some sudden grave robbery. This was an event that was associated with order and with care. And so the idea is to move away from presenting it in a way that could be interpreted as, oh, somebody just broke in and stole his body. The idea that it has something to do with some ancient tradition associated with folding napkins when you left the dinner table is not supported by any data whatsoever. In fact, it seems like that was something that someone just made up about 20 years ago. And the fit for this video is my own Data Over Dogma t-shirt, which you can find in one of the 2 Data Over Dogma stores in my link tree.